Hey guys, so it's been a while. Gonna try to make this a shorter video because I've tried to do this once already and that video was a half an hour long, so I started over, so here I am. So, as you guys know, for whoever's watching, or if no one's watching, no big deal. This is for me anyways. So, with that being said, as you guys have known, May 31st, I started having seizures. And I have had 5 or 6 between May 31st and July 4th. Since July 4th, I've had none. Today is July 28th? Yeah, no, no. Today is July 29th. So I've had no seizures for over 3 weeks. And I feel great. I found out that part of the reason why I was having these seizures, at least my belief anyways, is that for years and years and years and years and years, I've been kind of a night owl. You know, I stay up until, like 11 or 12. And I'll wake up at like 6 or 7. And I only have like 6 hours of sleep, so I don't get any sleep. And I think finally that has caught up to me after years and years and years. And I realize how important sleep is. And I believe that was one of the triggers for my seizures. Because every time I recall I have a seizure, I also recall the fact that I was tired that day. Very tired because I stayed up too late the night before or the time around that time I had the seizure. So that's part of the reason. The other part is more personal, which I won't get into. Has nothing to do with people or stress or anything. It has to do with other things that I won't get into. But I've been doing really good. Really good, guys. I've been, going to the gym 3 times a week. Reason for that being is that I have 10-day passes to ride a bus to get to work. And because I can't drive for 3 months until October 4th now, I have to ride a bus to work until I'm able to drive again. And I work 4 times a week. I have to use my pass 2 times every time I go to work. I get 1 transfer to get to my next bus, but then I have 3 different routes to ride, and I only get 1 transfer for 1 out of those 3 rides, so I have to use my pass twice. So the days I go to the gym, I'm using my pass 3 times. And so that takes up a lot of rides. So I try not to use my pass as much. I try to conserve my passes. So I'm not spending so much money. So I am going to the gym 3 times a week. 4 times if I'm able to on a Saturday, depending on if Cassie is busy or not with school or whatever. So I go at the very least 3 times a week. The max is usually 4 or 5. So it's hard to get there sometimes, but I get there as much as I possibly can. It will be a lot easier when I get my license back, that's for sure. So, that has been taking up a lot of my time. This whole Caesar thing. I've been focusing on sleeping. I go to bed every day. I get off work at 8 o'clock. I'm in bed by usually 9 o'clock. And between 9 and 10, I fall asleep. I wake up around 6 in the morning. So that's around 7 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on when I actually fall asleep. That's been number one, and then my number one priority. Taking care of myself. Making sure I'm eating right. Making sure I'm sleeping well. Making sure I'm doing housework and cooking and all that stuff I need to do. Because Cassie is overwhelmed with work, overwhelmed with school, so I got to make sure I do my part. What else has been going on? My brother got married. What was it? Last month? Yeah, last month. And that went well. Went really well. It was a really, really cool wedding. I really enjoyed it, actually. Really liked a lot of the things that happened, and how they decided to do things were just, it was really, 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 really cool. So I've been a lot in my Bible lately, doing a lot of praying, doing a lot of watching a lot of sermons online. Just been really good, and I've been doing well. I've felt like myself lately. I've felt normal for the first time in probably since middle of May, May 31st when I had my first seizure. I've really felt normal, and it feels great. It really does. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm doing my thing. Something that had bothered me. I won't say is bothering me. It had been bothering me for a long time. And I won't go into too much detail about it, but and this has to do with me. But my dad is overseas right now, working. He's working overseas, and I was very much against that. I didn't understand it. I didn't really understand why he was going over there because of certain things he had talked to me about that were kind of contradictory to what he was doing. So for the longest time I didn't understand it, didn't get it, pretty upset about it, but I came to the realization that I will never understand it. And to try to figure it out is just, I'm wasting brain power. There are some things in life we will never understand. There are some things in life that you can't comprehend because you don't know how that person thinks and how they feel about things and how they look at life. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to get everything. Just like some people don't get me. That's perfectly fine. But, you know, my dad works, he loves to work. I get it. That's his life. There, he, he's one of those people that, if he didn't have his work, he wouldn't know what to do. you know, and I get that. There are certain things in life that I have in my life that I don't know what I would do without those things. Or whatever it may be. Generalize it. And I finally just accepted it. And I think since then, since that point, which has been a few months now since I've really come to that realization for myself, you know, our relationship has been better. I haven't, when I talk to my dad, I don't think about what he's doing. I mean, obviously, I know he's working, but I don't think about why he's doing those things, and I don't worry about him anymore. I just accept it, and I just focus on my relationship with my dad, based on the things we like, based on the things that we love to do, the things that he likes to talk about. Again, just general things. So our relationship has gotten better and better and better year after year after year. And, I'll be the first person to admit that there are things that I have said and done. I should say said. I shouldn't say done, because there's nothing I really have done. There's things that I've said that were just wrong. And I'm willing to admit that. And I'm not scared to say that or share that, because I'm so done keeping things to myself to a certain degree. Obviously I'm not going to go into super personal things, but I'm done being scared of the world. I'm done being scared of things in life, because I used to be scared of life. I used to be scared of saying things and not speaking up for myself and standing up for myself. And I'm done doing that. I'm just done with that mindset. But I forgot what I was even talking about now. But I just learned to accept things in life, certain things, and you just gotta move on. And there are other aspects in my life which I'm still working on. And those are the things that are important to me. Anyone that tells me, everyone always, I shouldn't say everyone tells me this. People say, you don't care about this aspect of your life, or you don't seem to care about this aspect in your life. I think about all those things, and people just assume I don't care about those things. And it annoys me. And I'm guilty of it too. I'll tell someone that sometimes that you don't seem to care about this, but they really do. And I just am sometimes retarded thinking that way. And I know that. I think about all these things in life. And people look at me like I'm retarded. And it's annoying. But I'm going off topic here a little bit. Going back to my dad, and he's again working overseas. He's gonna probably be over there for 1 or 2 years, depending on what he decides. I don't know at this point when he's coming back to the U.S. Obviously I wish he was in the U.S., but I understand why he's over there, and I get it. And I I just I'm excited. What I'm excited for, I'm excited to make a permanent move to Arizona soon. Me and my wife have been talking about this for years. Um, when I first took her down to Arizona in 2013, um, and that's where I proposed to her because we've been dating or we had been dating up to that point for 2 years, and that was our third year we dated. And when I proposed to Cassie in 2013, I didn't know if she would like Arizona. I didn't know she would like the West Coast and like California and all that, because I lived in California too for a short period of time. And we went down there. She really enjoyed herself. She really loved the climate, the variety and the diversity there. Um, she loved it, and she said, I would really seriously consider living here one day. And I said, okay, well, let's think about it and let's really sit down and think about if that's what we really want. Once we're married and once we, see where we are. Well, flash forward to about a year and a half ago, she found out that she'll be able to work from home. And, telecommuting, basically. Um, and it hasn't happened yet, and she's still looking to get approved for it. And when that happens, we can live wherever we want. And bonus, there's a Mayo Clinic in Arizona. However, when we move down there, she'll be still, when she telecommutes from Arizona, she'll still be working for the state of Minnesota. So, but if she ever got sick of doing that job, she could find another job at Mayo Clinic, potentially in Arizona. And so that's a big bonus. So, big thing for her. And, people always come to me and go, why do you want to move to Arizona? It's so hot down there. And I tell them all the things and why I want to move down there and why I like it down there. And they go, well, you're just going to get sick of it. Because anywhere you move, wherever you move, you're going to get sick of that environment. And it's just going to become bland eventually. And that's true to an extent. But it's all relative. I mean, ask yourself this question. Why do you live where you live? Why does anyone live where they live? Is it because of their job? Is it because of they like the weather? Is it because they like the diversity? Is it because, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. For me, it's the diversity, it's the climate, it's the weather, it's a variety of different things. It's the culture, variety of different cultures. There is diversity in Arizona. As here in Minnesota, there is no diversity of really any kind. For example, if you want to get out of the heat here and the humidity, you can't. You go north, south, east, or west, just a little bit, you can't. There's nowhere to go to get out of it. Whereas if you're living in Arizona, it's very hot. I get it. Here in Phoenix, it's 110 degrees. I'm so sick of the weather here. I just want to get away for a few days. Oh, but you can. You can go an hour and a half, 2 hours north in Flagstaff where it's a bit cooler. And you can see some snow depending on the time of year. You can go to Sedona and get a little cooler weather there too. It's still warm, but not as warm. Or if you want to go see the ocean, You want to go see the coastline or go to the West Coast for a few days, you can. It's like a 6 hour drive to like the closest like shoreline. And it's awesome. It's great. I love that. The fact that you can do that, that you can get away from it, it's so cool. I think that's the coolest thing about Arizona. While again, Arizona's super hot. I get it, but I mean, there's so many different things to do there beyond just the climate. I mean, if I want to go out and see nightlife, I can. Here, there's none to be had. At least around here, you have to go to the cities for the nightlife. If you want to go, if you want to go outside in the winter here, you really can't. You have to stay inside and watch a movie. When you're in Arizona, you can be outside. You can go for walks. You can do whatever you want. You're not limited to what you can do. And the things that I like to do, going to sporting events, going outside, being in parks, uh, being free on what I'm able to do as far as activities, the options are limitless in Arizona. Period. Now, again, people rebuttal and say you're just going to get sick of all that. You're just going to. That's what I like. And that's what I mean. It's all relative. And that's why I said a few minutes ago, ask yourself that same question. Why do you live where you live? It's all relative. It doesn't matter why you're living there. It's only about you and what you want. It's not about what other people think and what other people perceive. I get all that. You know, I ask myself every day, so not every day, I ask myself sometimes why my dad decided to move to Arizona beyond the fact that his job was there. Like, like it's so hot there. But it's one of the top places to live in the United States is Arizona because of I don't know, maybe some of the things I'm talking about, I don't know. I really don't. But thousands and millions of people live there, so obviously I'm not the only one that feels this way. Um, and some people don't like Arizona. They hate the heat. They don't want to live there. That's fine. I don't care. That's your decision. But don't question my motives based on what I want because that that's unfair because I mean, I don't question people why they live where they live. I don't do that. And I mean, I just think it's stupid, you know? So, and I said I was going to make this video short. Well, that didn't go too well. Anyway, so I'm going to kind of wrap up this video here and just say I'm excited for my future. I'm excited for me and my wife and the places that we want to go. I want to. I said this on Facebook the other day. I want to stop settling and start living. I want to be able to do the things that I want and do the things that I want to do and my wife want to do, and stop just being somewhere just to be here. Because that's how I feel right now. I'm just here. You know, I'm just. There's no attachment to Minnesota for me. I like Minnesota. There are things about Minnesota I like, but I don't want to live here for the rest of my life. I just don't. You know, so with that being said, I'll say this. I moved to Arizona when I was 18 years old, right out of high school. On my own, I wasn't on my own. I went to live with my dad. And it didn't work out. I made a decision within like a month. decided to go down there, I'm like, I want to go back to where I used to live, where I was born and raised in Arizona. Everything is going to be the same, and it wasn't. Why? Because I was not mature enough to understand that, number one, you need a job. While I was going to school, great, but like I just wasn't mature enough at that time to really make a decision like that. And I was miserable down there at the time because I wasn't I number one, I wasn't living on my own. Number two, I was basing my decisions off of what other people were kind of influencing me to do at the time. And while it was my decision in the end, I back then I tended to base my decisions off of influence, and that was wrong of me to do. The difference now is I'm married. My wife wants the same thing that I do. We want to go down there together, but now I can start my own traditions. I can start my own family. I can start. I mean, I can make my own rules per se. You know, I'm not basing my decision off of anyone else except between me and my wife. And that feels really good. I feel so confident that it's going to work this time because I know what I want. I know what I want out of life. And this is a big decision. A decision that we've been talking about for years. It hasn't just been a month or two. Hi. So it's not just a decision I'm making to make like I did back then. And I just really feel like this decision is just really thought through. It's not something I'm taking lightly. It's something we're really planning for, you know, where we want to live, what part of the city we want to live. You know, it's just so much beyond some of the other things I've talked about, you know, like activities and climate and all that. But it's a great location for many different reasons, and I just love the fact that, you know, I can't really say much more because it is what it's what we want. And I said years ago that I had like a 5-year plan to get down to Arizona. This was before I met Cassie, and this was before I ever thought I'd get married, that I wanted to come down there. But I never thought in a million years that the person I would marry would want to be where I've always dreamed of living. You know, really starting my own family. You know, and again, back when I was 18, I was immature and I didn't think through things a lot, and so I just know things are different this time. Things feel so much better than they did 12 years ago, you know. And I don't know if anyone understands that, and hopefully this makes sense to a lot of you, or maybe it will make sense to me in 10 years. I feel like I'm making no sense, but I know in my head I am. So maybe in 10 years when I watch this, I'll realize why I was saying what I was saying and why I feel the way I feel. So anyways, guys, this has been a very long video. I'm doing great. My seizures seem to be under control. I'm back to work. I've been back to. Oh, actually, I've been working. I've missed probably 2 or 3 days within that time period that I had those seizures, but now it feels great, and I feel like I'm just really back to normal again. With that being said, I'm gonna stop ranting. I'm going to just go eat now. It's about 10:35 in the morning. Gotta go eat some breakfast. Gotta go clean a little bit, and then around 2:15 I have to go to work because I have about an hour bus ride before I even get there. Um, so, um, anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I am extremely sorry that I went on this real long rant when I said I wanted to make this video shorter than the last one. But anyways, we will talk to you later. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. But I'll be on here again soon now that things are back to normal. For me anyways. So we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.